So I'll open up the meeting. This is our August 1st, 2018 meeting. The Lakeville Police Station Building Committee. Our first order of business, we ask if anybody's recording the meeting. There's nobody is other than LakeCAM. It's the approval of our meeting minutes for July 11, 2018. A copy of which has been provided to the committee. Everybody have a chance to review these?
Make a motion to accept the July 11th meeting minutes as written.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Just one. Okay, get that right. All right, at this point, I'll turn the meeting over to Taylor for our construction update.
Absolutely. So I think the last time we met, they were just starting foundations for both buildings. So at this point, the foundations and footings are complete at both buildings. They've done some backfill to the point where they need to start installing their underground plumbing and electric. So that's in process right now. That's what you see, the black stubs everywhere is all your underground plumbing. And so the outbuilding is backfilled. Once their underground plumbing is done on the interior, they have a little more backfill on top of that. That'll bring them up to the underside of the slab, and they're hoping to get the slab in around 3 weeks from today. So they're progressing towards that, and once the slab's in, you're going to start seeing some real action out there. It'll go up quick. The steel is on site, ready to go. So at the same time, they're working in the site. Any underground drainage structures are going in. I think that's most of what's going on right now. All their underground rough for any duct banks. We had a inspection on part of the electrical duct bank coming into the building yesterday. That passed fine, so they're able to backfill that. So it's really just underground plumbing, electrical, and backfilling that are ongoing right now. But no issues have come up. It's been pretty steady out there. We're happy to report to you. Any questions on any of the work that's going on out there?
Looks good.
I think you'll see a big transition in the next month. I mean, most of the things that you've seen this month are at grade or below grade, but all the structural steel is on site. And following structural steel erection, they'll be looking to get wood trusses. And once the steel frame is up, you'll see the building start to take shape pretty quickly on the outside with the exterior walls and roof trusses. So the steel framing goes up relatively quickly, and you'll see that in the next 4 weeks.
Brian's team is doing a great job of reviewing submittals, getting them out quick. The contractor hasn't had to wait on anything. Any requests for information too, same thing. Brian's office is kicking those out quickly. So it's giving the contractor the opportunity to get his submittals in, get them back, and order his materials, and not have any issues with lead items. So it's a good working machine right now. As far as the project schedule goes, the contractor, for all intents and purposes, is right on schedule. He doesn't expect anything less at this point. So we get a schedule update from him at all of our meetings before this one, and that's where he is right now. So no issues with schedule. Moving on, I did provide a budget update, and this is the update I provided you is actually going to change a little bit. And speaking to Rita, it sounds like the selectmen want to see a little more detail or month-by-month action on this. So I'm going to put something together that shows really what's been expended each month rather than point-in-time month. So by the next time I see you, I'll have a worked-out budget report for you. But the adjustments to the contract this month, the first one being change order number 1 to the general contract. That was the change order we talked about last meeting. The 2 items on that were the install, the furnishing and the install of the faucets and shower valves, and also the wall-hung sinks. The other change that we talked about last time too was the water line. The contractor having to work around the fiber there. So that was the change to our water line project. And then the other change, this is a new one, we approved our security system, and that bid came in $5,400 than where our line item for that was. So those changes constitute a change in the contingency to a little over $21,000, which brings your contingency still very healthy, a little over 1.5 right now. Any questions on that? Material testing update.
Sure.
What about the Formica countertops? Wasn't that gonna be a change order to upgrade that, or is that down the road?
Down the road.
We haven't got any pricing on that yet. So that was one of the VE items that we changed to move from the laminate to a solid surface. So Brian's team is gonna be issuing an ASI that really says use solid surface instead of this, so we don't have a cost on that yet.
The process for all that is you give me a direction, I give the general contractor that direction, then we wait for a proposal pricing back. Do we have to review it, find out if it's fair and reasonable? It may involve back and forth between the contractors. You would only see it once it's vetted by us and vetted through Pomeroy, and then it would become a change order. So it may be a month or two before you see that final number on the countertops. But it is in the works.
So this list will continue on with every change order?
Correct. Yeah. Anything that pops up. Moving on to material testing. SW Cole or Tibbetts is still doing our testing out there. Haven't had any issues with any of the tests performed. We did have a couple issues with their reporting as of late. So we've had some long discussions with them. Just really, they should be taking a little bit more time before the inspection reports go out. There's been a few errors that we've noticed. Things that are in the spec that they should have on the report that aren't. So we've figured all that out. No issues in terms of the material they're testing, just the way they're reporting it. So we've had a talk with them, and we expect that to be turned around. I did have change requests on here to go over our change order log. The only new one that's come up is number 3, and this is, I have REV, but it should be ERV relocation. Sorry about that, I'll correct that. And this had to do with some coordination of HVAC unit in the truss. And Brian, you can talk about that if you want to.
An ERV is a mechanical piece of equipment that we have in the attic, energy recovery ventilator. It takes return air, and it's air that we're exhausting out of the building, and it takes incoming fresh air, and through this unit, it transfers energy. It does not transfer air, but we take the heat from the exhausted air, transfer that heat into the incoming air, so we temper that air through this unit. So it saves on energy costs, is what it is. We have to be supplying so much fresh air into all of the offices in the building, so we bring in fresh air. On a real cold day in the winter, bringing that fresh air in, we need to temper that and get it to a conditioned air that we can provide into the spaces. So this ERV unit is what's providing that transfer of energy. Where we had it positioned in the attic, there was always a concern that we wanted to go over with the contractor about servicing this unit and having access to this unit. So in the submittal process, that discussion took place between the engineers and the contractors. And there was a recommendation to change the unit to a different manufacturer, which provided a little smaller unit. And if we rotated it 90 degrees, we would have better access to service the unit. Because there are filters in it, we have to get access to access doors, and we need to get to this unit. We also talked about how we're getting it in the building, how we might have to get it out of the building and down the road. So there was a lot of conversation about this unit And we found it was in the best interest to go to this different manufacturer, rotate the unit. So now that we had a revised drawing, we have to then send it back through all of the trades to find out if all of the trades have any change in scope. Mechanical contractor came back, no change in scope, no cost increase. Electrical contractor, no change in cost, no scope increase. We thought we were out of the woods, and we received an $888 request from the truss manufacturer, the truss supplier, because they had to reinforce a couple trusses now that it had been rotated in the attic. So this $800 request, which becomes $888.28 through the contractor, is for some additional reinforcing on a couple trusses up in the attic. But other than that, we think we've got a better solution to, up in the attic for this piece of equipment. So we're recommending approval of $888.28 to make a couple modifications to roof trusses.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about this? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the change order as requested.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
So we actually, we have another one that's not on here that popped up today. Our drawings show a 4-inch fire service line coming onto the property. And we knew that once we got our new water line to the area that it's at now in front of the station, we'd have to do a flow test on it to see if it's large enough to carry that line into the building. Since that time, the contractor did a flow test on it, and it looks like we'll need to upgrade it to a 6-inch line. We weren't sure if it was going to be a 6-inch or an 8-inch. The upgrade for that is $550. It's just an upcharge, and their labor really to work with the pipe. They're not charging us any more material. It's a very good price. The price to go to the 8-inch was about $2,500. So I don't have all the paperwork on it because we actually just started our meeting before this, but it'll be about $550. So that the fire service line coming into the building is large enough to handle that. So that's another one that's coming forward.
$555.18. And I think that's the deal of the century right here. I know we just got it today, but there's really not much review we have to put on this because they're increasing the pipe size for no additional cost, and they want $500 for the labor. It's I would jump on this so we can get an answer back to them tomorrow and just say, go. So if you want that in the form of a recommendation, it's change order.
Number 4.
It's change order number 4, change proposal number 4, in the amount of $555.18.
Does anybody have any questions about that?
If I may, Aaron, that comes out of the water money, right?
No, this
that
is
was
a
on
general
site.
contractor cost
Okay.
because
The service
it's,
on site.
Okay.
we're bringing the line onto our site. The stub that was provided off of the main, I think they provided it as 8 inches.
Correct.
So we have plenty of capacity at the main. The volume and flow that they took was lower than we anticipated. So we just need to increase the pipe size for the sprinkler only. We're not increasing the pipe size for the domestic water, only for the fire service.
Is the domestic, sorry, is the domestic coming off separately on that?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept change order 4 for the 6-inch fire sprinkler line into the building in the amount of $555.18.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Just for the record, I'm assuming you guys obviously approve the...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Recommended and approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. Hearing none, the motion carries. It's unanimous.
Okay, moving forward with owner vendor updates, I have a couple updates here. First one being I'm working with the chief on setting up a radio meeting. And what we're going to do for that is put together really a bid package that's going to go out so we can get our radios involved in the project. I'll have more on that probably at our next meeting. Also, now that we have Signet on board for security, I'm going to be setting up a meeting with the chief to sit down and talk about how the security system is going to work. And we'll go through really the system from soup to nuts. So that's another one that's on the table right now. Generator, working with Rita's office to get the generator procurement complete by the end of next week. Because of the tariffs coming in, there's going to be an upgrade in the price by the end of next week, so we're going to make sure it's cleared out by then. So that is the plan on the generator. And then propane tanks, we just got some new information today from Brian, if you want to give an update on that.
If I may,
Yep.
Going back to the contract for the generator, I don't think the selectmen have never voted on it. $76,325?
They have not voted on it.
Yeah, I think for me to sign it, I guess I'd like this committee to vote on it. Or do you want me to put it on the selectmen's agenda on the 8th?
Yeah, I mean, we can vote on it today and
Recommend
then
it.
throw it on the agenda for them
Okay.
too.
This is the original price that we got when we decided to take it out of the contract. The price hasn't changed, it's the same process that we were talking about
Yep.
meetings before.
Yeah, it's just a matter of the formality, just,
All right, so,
okay, so I'll move that we enter into the contract with South Shore Generator Sales and Service for the procurement of the generator for the police station with an estimated cost of $76,325.
So moved.
Question, Aaron, it is
Yep.
in the budget there, Rita, you know.
I know,
Correct.
but
So
we've
it's already been
we've
approved.
been approving all of these contracts as they come along to sign.
Oh, the contract, okay.
Yeah, it's the contract.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Nate?
second it.
Okay. Any further discussion, questions about this? I mean, yeah, this is pretty well-worn territory, I think, at this point.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries, it's unanimous.
And then lastly was the update on the propane tanks, which Brian has some good updates on.
We have been reaching out and trying to find pricing for you for installing and buying propane tanks for the project. The way the project was designed, we had propane located for an entry point of the building. There was never a request to purchase the tanks until after the bids were received. You could have gone out and leased these tanks from a propane supplier. But there was an interest in purchasing the tanks. So we've been working with J-San Gas Service out of East Freetown, Massachusetts. They're a company that services Lakeville currently with propane service. So we've asked them to review the gas loads for the building and also recommend what size tanks they would recommend. And they've provided a sketch showing where they would propose installing tanks, and what they're proposing to install would be underground tanks, not above-ground tanks. We've checked with the town of Lakeville about regulations for installing underground tanks in Lakeville, and they do not require any concrete hold-down pads or any mounting pads. So we can directly bury these, we just have to put sand around them as a bedding material for the tanks. So based on the load from the buildings, and I say there are two buildings, there's a main building and there's an outbuilding. Both of them will require heat and propane for heat. They're recommending that the town buy two 1,000-gallon propane tanks. They said you could buy one 2,000-gallon propane tank. But they're not readily available, and there's a lead time on those, and there's an order time on those. 1,000-gallon propane tanks are readily available, and they have those, and many propane companies stock 1,000-gallon tanks, but not 2,000-gallon tanks. So they're recommending that you put 2 tanks underground and then pipe them in tandem. And then gas service from those 2 tanks would then go to one line to the outbuilding and another line to the main building. And because both buildings are getting serviced by the 2 tanks in tandem, whatever is showing the greater demand would be drawing down the propane from both tanks. So you're not in a position where you have just a tank for the outbuilding and that's got plenty of propane in it, but you need service for your main building. Both of these tanks are providing propane to both of those structures. So they've also shown a location to bury these tanks beyond the parking lot toward the ball field. So we have space between the curb and a fence line that we have running along the ball field on the back side of the site. We'd only have to dig a hole 5 feet deep, and these tanks would then get backfilled with sand. So to provide a cost to the town, they've provided a cost to furnish 2 1,000-gallon underground tanks and also regulators, single stage, first stage regulators, second stage regulators, tank connectors. And that price was quoted at $8,851.87. In addition to that cost, there would be piping that would have to be brought to each building, and there would also have to be gas propane connections within the building. So they're estimating those costs right now to be between $3,500 and $4,200. And that's a range. This does not include the excavation. It does not include the sand. They do the pipe install, but they don't do the trenching. So we'd have to get, in addition to these prices, there would be a price for trenching through AP Whitaker for trenching and backfilling those propane lines. I haven't gone out and received any additional proposals on this.
If I may, Aaron, because I thought I was waiting for the specifications for it, because I would like to get quotes from Roby's Gas too, because they were a longtime servicer to the town too.
Well, this describes, and we can provide you this proposal, just to take the pricing off of it, if you want to go out and get additional proposals.
Yep.
And then there's a question of how do you want to coordinate purchase and coordinate the work with AP Whitaker. I think the easiest thing to do is, once you have a proposal that you feel is in your best interest, that we turn this work over to AP Whitaker through a change order and just have them coordinate all the work that's going to be done on site with the gas company, if this is the proposal that you feel is in your best interest. I think the size of the tanks is appropriate. I think the location is appropriate. I think the way they're proposing to pipe them to the buildings seems to make sense. And the reason that they didn't want to go with a single 1,000-gallon tank is they wanted, because it's a police department, they didn't want to have to have the police department rely on service. They would rather have them have the capacity and get through some longer durations without having to repeat service there on a more regular basis, just because of the type of building that it is.
How many hours will that give you?
No, I don't know. I don't think it says in here, Rick. But let's see.
I'll get that from Brian, Rita. The easiest way, like Brian's saying, is if we find whichever one we want to go with price-wise, we can have AP Whitaker purchase them. and then they would give us a price to install.
Can I ask a question,
Yeah, of course.
Aaron? What if Roby's would, I imagine it, a 2,000 gallon tank would be less than 1,000. What if they happen to have one? Would they quote, how do I?
Well, I think what we were looking for is a capacity of 2,000 gallons at the most cost-effective approach. The most cost-effective approach for J-Sand would be 2 tanks at 1,000 gallons each.
What's the lead time on a 2,000 gallon tank?
They have them,
2,000.
oh, on a 2,000 gallon tank, they said it could be up to 4 weeks.
Oh, that's not a big deal.
And there's also, right now, they did say there is a shortage on deliveries.
No.
Yeah, going to the same thing, if a 2,000 was, if we can, I think we can wait, the full, you know, a month. Maybe it's cheaper.
I don't know if it's cheaper install or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have the only backfill one.
All right. Well, Rita will get more information, and
Okay.
we'll make a
All right.
decision based on the information we find.
But as far as overall pricing, I don't think it's gonna be that bad overall to get all of that underground and, you know, you own it. I think that's the other advantage here is you don't have to be in a lease arrangement with one vendor.
Yep.
One more question.
Sure.
If AP Whitaker takes over the installation of it, are they gonna be responsible to make sure that something happens?
Yes.
Under warranty?
Well, if it's a piping issue, then you'd have whoever installed the piping be responsible. They would, AP Whitaker would take responsibility for any of their scope, which in this case is just excavation and backfilling.
But if by chance they damage the tank, I mean, they're gonna be responsible.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
What's the warranty on these things, do we know?
I don't think that's in here either.
Are they steel tanks?
Yes.
The price might be going up on that. But we found, especially with the COA, we're better off owning the tank because when.
No, I understand that, yeah.
When we've had to switch based on competitive bids, the company takes everything out and the new company has to bring them in. So
Yeah.
I would prefer to own it.
And Brian said he talked to J-Sand too about if you guys are picked to, you may not get the contract, and they said, yeah, we understand.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, they understand that this is just a proposal,
Mhm.
and that it has to go to you as a committee.
But this wasn't in the budget?
It's not the tanks itself. We have a high utility company back charge. Budget line's 50 grand,
Yeah,
so it's gonna be coming out of that line.
okay.
If you're, in the original budget, it was there, and if you remember, we carved out
Yeah,
the
we talked
emergency
about this,
generator.
the idea of
We
buying
took
the
the scope
tanks.
away from the general contractor, so you benefited by a lower price, but now we just need to,
Okay.
add that back
I
in.
knew there was discussion, but my
Mhm.
memory isn't good with Aaron's.
Yeah, typically coming out of that line would be your gas, a gas charge, so should balance out.
I think this gives them, I think this gives you adequate information to get a comparable number. But they're at the point in the site work right now, where they are looking to complete as much of the underground work as possible. So I know that they'd be anxious to get this contractor on board. So this is all underground utilities that they're really trying to get a jump on right now. Everything that's below ground is what they're wanting to put in now.
They want to get a binder down before the winter.
Yeah.
Right.
So can you forward that to me, and then I'll coordinate with
You have
Rita?
it.
I don't think, did you send it to me today?
No,
I
I
think I got
remember
it.
when you had the sketch with it.
Oh, yeah, never mind, I do remember.
Yeah, I forwarded it to you.
The guy at J-Sand put together a sketch on what it would look like, and it looked like a third grader drew it. So Brian said, did you print it out? And I said, I'm not gonna give that to the committee.
Yeah, it's got a trench, it's got a hole. There it is.
Yeah, and just find out too, to Rich's point, the manufacturer's warranty maybe on the tanks themselves, just be good to know, for the sake of more information.
Okay. Coordinate that. Moving on to the action list, we've probably talked about most of these. 12 is a general one that's kept open throughout the process, utility notifications. Middleborough Gas and Electric has been great. We already have the new pole there. Now, everything at this point is on the contractor to get all of his, secondary conduits in, and then they do the inspections for the transformer location, so it's in the contractor's court at this point. Our water line is obviously complete. Gas is on the contractor, or not gas, the propane we just talked about. Sewer, the contractor is coordinating. Fiber, I'm in the process of coordinating how that's going to be coming into the building. We've already had one meeting with Fiber Company and Tim Graybar's out there. So that's I believe that's the bulk of all the main. Oh, and E911, we've had conversations with them, making sure they're all set to come into the building, which is also General Dynamics. So I'm in constant contact with them on the project. Moving on to the next page, 21, the generator purchase we talked about. 22, we have some good news on that. We received the curb cut permit. There's also another part to that, though, and that's the fact that the Mass DOT does want to see us do some modifications to the existing entrance of the camp. So it's my understanding that we're going to talk to Jamie about probably putting together a proposal of how to handle that. Send that to them and see if they'll approve that. So I think we should talk about maybe getting a proposal from Jamie on what that design would take him to do, and talk about moving forward with that. So there's no more hostage for ours. We have our curb cut permit, but now they want to see
Right.
whatever happens.
And actually, I
to
want to thank
take care
Nate.
of
He
it.
had suggested that we contact Mass DOT with that request. Can you please not hold up the police station
Yeah.
piece due to the fact that this other piece exists, and we'll deal with that later?
Yeah,
They
it was a
agreed,
great idea, and it worked. They turned it around in days, so that was good to see.
When you're considering this additional work through ZCE, ZCE is a subcontractor of ours for the work that we're doing at the police station. But we're more than agreeable if you wanted to go direct to ZCE and not build this additional work at the park through us. So
Separate.
I
Yeah.
think it's a separate project. It's beyond even the contract limit lines that Whitaker is working under.
Mhm.
So if you want to go direct, that's fine with us. And we've even said if you wanted to make the modifications through town forces or highway department or other sources, you have that right and ability to do that.
Right.
But don't-
Yeah, that was our understanding as well, was that we would try to deal with it outside of the scope of this, but perhaps use resources from this project, if need be, to pay for it, because it's that whole but-for analysis we talked about the last time. But
Right.
for the existence of a new police station, we wouldn't have this problem. So, and the park commission isn't set up to deal with unforeseen costs because they're an enterprise account. So, yeah, we'll,
It doesn't have to go through us, or it doesn't have to go through AP Whitaker.
yep,
Or it could go through us and it could go through AP Whitaker. It's really up to you.
We talked about both scenarios at our meeting, and AP Whitaker
Yeah.
said if it is scope that you'd like them to do, we can certainly do that. If it's something the town can handle, we just have to figure out what that scope is first,
right,
Yep.
It seems so much smaller now that the fence is up there. It always used to seem that it was so much bigger. Now it seems half the size.
I don't see it as a problem. I think it's
Yeah.
a nice wide view, it's ridiculous.
Been there for 16 years. and
Has there ever been an accident out there?
Probably not.
Did we put granite curb in our, we did, okay. Sorry.
I've got a little fly around my head.
Is Granite Curb in the parking lot?
Went that way.
That
I
or
don't
Lakeville?
remember.
I went like this. It
Was
went
he over there before?
Yeah, and I went
Yeah, told
like
him to
this
go
and it
back.
went away.
What was the question?
Is there granite curb in the parking lot? I don't remember.
I don't think
Or is
everywhere.
it
No, I
Cape
think
Cod
it-
berm,
Yeah.
I believe at the entrance.
just the entrance?
Yeah. 24, the VE add back items. Brian's been working on, the gate has been really the biggest push right now because there's some underground work we have to get. So he's sent the gate model and all the electronic features to the contractor. Next, he'll be sending out the area of location where we need to put our conduits in for that. So Brian has that list, and that was the biggest push, was the gate.
How's that gate gonna be controlled?
We haven't talked about that yet. We're gonna.
It'll be controlled through the security contractor for the town. So I have two components to that submission. One component is the gate operator, and that component is through AP Whitaker. So that information is in their hands with a specification, and they're sending it to their fencing contractor to get a proposal on just the operator. Second component of it, though, is controls. And it could be, and we were talking about it earlier, we really have to talk to the police department to see what their, there's good, better, and best scenarios to this. And it's a scalable answer as far as you need to provide, at a minimum, a way for someone to pull up to that gate and open it. And that would be through the access control system.
Thank you.
But then, as I say, it's scalable. You probably should have a video intercom station out there too. You should probably look to have vehicle detectors so we can have official vehicles have a way to open those gates by just pulling up to the gates. So these things are gonna have to be looked at, and Signet would be the one providing those components. And we need to get pricing on that also. So it is turning into more than just providing a motor on the gate. It's gonna be a complete answer. What we're directing AP Whitaker to do at this point is to get the conduits where we need to get the conduits. We have conduits going out to the gate location. We need to add some conduits to go to the control location now, to get some controlled wiring back to the pedestal location. So we want to get the underground infrastructure in. You'll still have the ability to see all the pricing and take action on those proposals.
So in terms of Rick's question, what mode of entrance on a project, we're having an issue with, and I told the chief about this, of license plate readers that.
Yeah, no plate readers.
Yeah, so I already told the chief, no plate readers. The technology just isn't there yet.
In about a year and a half to 2 years, it will be there, but not now.
28, the Signet contract. Rita, I'm gonna get in touch with you tomorrow on that. I think they're just looking for a notice of award, so I'll send you a form
Oh,
letter.
okay.
WB Mason, we haven't had any new updates on that. I have had another furniture company reach out to me though, chief. So I'm probably gonna be sending them a plan, get some pricing from them, we can compare.
The same one that had been calling?
Probably, they call me every single day.
They called again. Yeah.
Is that KI?
Yep. They're brutal. Radio survey, we have that draft. Again, that's part of that meeting that I said I was setting up with the chief. And that'll be part of the radio bidding.
So does the chief have that survey? You got that survey, Frank?
I spoke to Chick kind of on the phone on where he is with that. We are waiting to get that meeting together. I'm kind of anxious to find out where we're going to be.
Okay.
Because I think there's going to be some upgrades needed to our equipment and where we're going to stand with it. And I think we have 150,000 allocated for radio, so kind of anxious to see where we're going to be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a little
as far as,
creative with it. He hasn't sent you the draft though. He may have, it might have in
Yeah, maybe
a
if
Dropbox. I'll make sure you have it tomorrow.
I'd like to look at that, the survey.
Yep.
Yeah, I can send that to everybody. E911 coordination is ongoing. Dispatch consoles, we'll have to talk about purchasing those. We have money in the budget for those, so we can meet with a couple vendors that we use all the time and get some pricing for that cheap. Propane tank, we talked about that. Closeout documents are ongoing. Town IT coordination, that's ongoing with Tim. We talked about a road sign for the PD. We don't have one in the contract. We have conduit to a location, so the chief's been looking at a couple different sign options, so at some point, we're gonna be getting some pricing for a sign that'll be out front.
I saw a nice sign over in Norton today. I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Brian got a nice one too, Kava Fire, the new fire station, it's a nice sign as well.
I'll take a
Get a
picture of it
couple.
Sunday and get it to you.
In 44, we talked about this already, but confirming the fire line size, that was done today, that's why it's not closed out, so that'll be closed. It'll be 6-inch. So the last thing I had was invoices, unless there's any new business before we go through invoices, anybody, I'll go around the room. Rick?
I have a question on the IT stuff, and I brought this up a number of times, and I did talk to Tim about this, so you know, that, the various options of the dispatch using the internet versus using landlines with Verizon, because we know that the landlines here are horrendous, they're awful, they're just not reliable. That since we have the Taunton fiber, and Verizon has fiber here as well, we should look at that as an option, where we can back each other up instead of relying on those landlines. So if there's any discussion, about the IT, I'd like to help and participate. I did mention, I don't know if you mentioned it to you or not.
We met with Verizon regarding the phones, is there something that?
Well, we were
Board of
looking, we
Selectmen
met
are gonna take
first
a
with,
vote?
looking at it townwide. And I met with 5 companies, so like
Yeah.
5 companies. And it's
Yeah.
just like Verizon is the
I
one.
would, I think that's a great idea, because I think it's all going in that direction anyway, in terms of, phone. There's gonna be no cable, like we've discussed at the selectmen's meetings. Pretty soon, every piece of content you get will be through the internet, so
Yeah.
I think that's a smart way to do
And
it.
they just did it over in Rochester, because they regionalized their dispatch, and it seems to be working pretty well, so.
And then do they have the copper as backup?
They have a couple of lines as Carper's backup, but that's not the primary,
Yeah.
because they had the same problem.
Yeah.
I mean, every time this is
My
on,
office line
forget
is
it.
copper, and had to call, I swear I've had to call every day for like the past 6 weeks, it keeps going out. It's
Yeah.
like the one copper line coming in here.
So
That's
it's
just
just
using that line to call out.
Since we have both of those options available to us, and one to back up to the other. Now, the only problem, and I brought this up as well to Tim, is that the senior center's gonna have a generator, I understand, soon. Oh, I thought you already funded it, no?
We funded it. Yeah,
did.
it
Oh,
get
okay, that's what I
funded.
thought. So sometime soon. But the Taunton one, the fiber, and the piece of equipment that's in the library doesn't have a generator. So when the power goes down, you're down. So that needs to either be moved, which I think it should be moved, easily moved.
Our equipment in there,
Yeah.
that's all part of this, right?
Yeah. It is
Yeah, what
gonna-
I'm saying is that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because all that coordination, and whether the fiber needs to be moved, I don't know.
Right.
But, it should be addressed, because you want that to be up, which would mean that the town hall, would be up, as well, if you have that, backup and the generator and the COA and so forth and so on. So I'd like to be part of that discussion to try to help as best as I can.
I think the Verizon pitch was good with the voice over internet.
That's what I'm talking
And
about.
the plug and play.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it was a pretty good system. I think, were you there, Nate?
I
Tim was
wasn't at
there,
that
and they
meeting.
had,
I did see one.
and there was redundancy
Right.
if you lose the internet. Some of it goes a little over the head.
And I
but
felt,
it's-
Lorraine and I actually felt, let's start with the police station before we,
No, that's
yeah.
fine, but I think
Yeah.
you wanna, if you had, I
Let's
mean,
go with
you already
Verizon.
invested all that money
Yeah.
in the fiber.
Yes.
Right.
You know, you might as well take
Yeah.
advantage of it, you know, as your backup
Yeah,
if you
we're
want.
using a tiny fraction of the capacity that we have
Right.
for that fiber.
Yeah.
It would be nice if, you know, we were all on the same, you know, eventually a system that,
So then, you could have a townwide, you know, phone system that would all be connected,
That's what we.
okay?
Right.
It could be very easily done, so you could buy, not for the police station, they'd have to have their own system. But for all the other buildings, you could have one common phone system
Mhm.
that could work in all the buildings. Save you a lot of
That's our
money.
goal.
Save you a ton of money, as a matter of fact, just in Verizon landlines alone.
And it would be way better. And
Oh,
the service
Yeah,
would be way
because
better.
it's just, everything's an extension now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very, very popular move that people, towns are
anyway,
going in that
I
direction.
just wanted to bring that up, I think it's very important. And it's,
Yeah.
now's the time to get on it, so you know what needs to be done.
Not only do we have a generator, but we have a UPS.
Right.
So that's gonna give you cleaner power and no interruptions, even in that downtime between
Right.
power failure and generator.
Yeah.
There's a UPS, so it would be a seamless system through any power outage.
How big is the IT room in the station?
Never big enough.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
I know
sized for
equipment is
it's
getting
sized
smaller,
for the
too.
equipment that we looked at before
Okay.
at the library and the town hall. Brian did make it a little bigger, so.
I mean, the box of the library's like this big.
You have
Yeah, so,
capacity.
You know,
and that's the
it's
thing.
not
if
The
you-
big.
room isn't much bigger.
No, and if
If
the
you're
air
gonna-
conditioning
Yeah.
goes in that
Yeah.
room, you know, it's got a separate air conditioner, and it's failed,
Mhm.
you know, you're screwed. You know, you're down. Everybody's down. So you don't want that to happen.
But if you, we did this in most communities are going this direction when we're doing police facilities, is that they look at the police facility as having the master.
Yeah.
The hub for the entire town, and then so you make that investment when you're getting the police phone system up, and then slowly but surely you tie all the other buildings into it. But you have a facility that's got the UPS, the emergency generator, it's a likely choice, and it's not that big of a piece of a component at this point.
Not at all.
So just a little bit more money for the master, and that'll size, you know, carry the whole town, and then just as, you know, as I said before, you just sort of slowly integrate all the buildings into it.
I'll get more information on that, Rich, but I know Tim was working on that part of the system, but I'll.
I'm not trying to butt in,
Keep you
I just
involved.
want it done right. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah, certainly.
You know? Because I've dealt with it before, and I know some of the obstacles that you run into. This is a perfect time to try to do it right.
Nate, anything?
There's one other thing you had mentioned about a floor, right? You want to bring it
yeah,
up?
we
I'm sorry.
kind of had some email conversation about the showers.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe a small thing, but when I looked at it, but I think Brian had the explanation on what, you know, where you've dealt with fungus issues, I guess, with,
It's whether,
when I looked at,
the question is whether you put a one-piece composite shower in or you put a tile shower in. Tile showers might look more attractive, but we found these are public showers that we're putting in. So in a public shower condition, you're concerned about grout lines and foot fungus and mold growth
Harder to
within
clean.
grout lines. And we've taken the position in our office that we're putting in the one-piece acrylic units where you can, it's a better public health condition where you can then, you don't have the joints and you can bleach those units and disinfect them instead of being worried about grout lines.
when we started thinking about it, I really didn't want 20 guys with foot fungus either.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a question that I had when I toured theirs and looked at that. And I had thought of it, when you go to the schools, I think it's all tile in there and how they have it. But I thought, I talked to Nate about the durability issues as well, but makes sense.
Yeah.
The acrylic is nice, and, when Frank and I first spoke, I was picturing like the three-piece fiberglass, but the acrylic's color throughout. I mean, you can repair them easy, they're durable.
Yeah.
It's probably a real good option.
And
We
it's
do
all-
have
It's all
to-
one piece too. so
Yeah, it's one
That makes
piece.
a big
We-
difference.
We do have tile outside of the showers, so the flooring is tiled outside of the showers, but the shower is the area where you're gonna get most of that concern for those mold issues, fungus issues.
So if we change that, does that have to be rebid?
No, we have the acrylic units now, and we're looking to stay with acrylic units. So that's what's in the bid.
Anything new? Nate?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Aaron?
No, I wanted to bring up to the committee, I talked about this with Frank, and I wanted to, at some point, take a vote to name the community room after Rita. The Rita A. Gavin Community Room.
Timed that perfectly.
And, I don't know if we want to put it on a subsequent agenda item, or we could do it tonight. I mean, I think it's just a matter of signage. I talked with Taylor about it. And I could get into the reasons, a million reasons why I think that's an appropriate name for it. So I don't know how the committee feels about that. Do we want to take a vote on that? Do we want to put it on an agenda?
To vote on it now,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
The name is Sal after you.
I'd be lucky
He
to
gets
get
the
a shower.
shower.
Yeah, might not even be that, I won't say when.
I'd like to make that motion, that we name that community room after Rita.
Second that.
All right. Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Pauline,
I'm joking.
She just giggled.
I'm joking, of course.
You just stole the moment.
So that was all I had. Thanks.
Hey, Brian, you guys could probably do a rendering of the lettering, or something like that, right?
Oh, we could,
Make it look nice?
yeah.
That was Roger Hamilton, to follow up on,
Oh, the curb
Yeah.
cut? Yeah.
he's pretty sure Mass Highway came out and put the markings of where it was gonna be cut. Highway did the work, Mike Murphy, my neighbor, who used to work for the parks, cut the trees. But he said Dick Fickett was the one that really worked with Mass Highway. But as he remembers it, Mass Highway supposedly had markings out there. Because it's just off a little bit from the original, so
Hmm.
that's as much as we know about that.
It's just Mass Highway.
They didn't check on it 16 years ago, so why do you think they're gonna come and check on
Yeah.
it again?
And Aaron's name's on the letter, so who cares?
It may never be resolved.
But we did
Gosh
do the
darn
work,
parks.
so.
I was just going around the room, Rita, do you have anything new?
No, I just need the bills to be signed
Okay.
by the approving group.
Chief? Good? Anything down here?
All good.
Brian?
Two issues, or two items for discussion. You had us include on the plans an underground conduit if the town was interested in doing irrigation for this project in the future. We're at a point now where we're talking about anything that's underground. So the topic of irrigation should be brought up again to know what the town's interest is in putting an irrigation system in on the property. Not that you have to do it, but right now, the only provisions we have is an underground conduit that runs from the front lawn through the project and heads out toward the park. So it's a conduit, that's all we have. If you're interested in an irrigation system, I think you would want to look at getting more of a proposal as to what areas of the site you want to irrigate. Should we be adding more conduit under roadways? If you wanted to do more areas, we don't want to have you in a position where the project's done, and then somebody brings up the irrigation system, and then you say, well, we should have, could have, would have put an extra conduit in. But I think it really takes a little bit more effort from a company that installs irrigation systems, and your interest in how much or how little do you want to irrigate. And is the conduit that heads toward the park, is that the right solution for a water source? Or, there's another discussion that has to be had, is if you're going to irrigate, where you're going to get the water to do the irrigation. So there's a bigger question, but at this point, it's really what's your intent, and should we be putting in more conduits underground to make a solution possible for you?
I have a very strong opinion on that. Some of our biggest struggles in turning over facilities is getting the landscaping to take. And what we're seeing lately is integrating irrigation systems into the project. And it's actually saving money because the landscapers' costs are less because they know they have some means of watering it without sending a laborer or an employee out every single day for 3-4 months. It doesn't mean that the town has to use it after the landscaping is established, but it allows for the landscaping, the investment of the landscaping to be established properly. And we're struggling on a couple of projects right now, getting ready to turn them over to the town. The town had decided no irrigation whatsoever, and the contractor is just constantly, all day long, just dragging hoses across, and they just don't present well for a finished product.
If you don't put it in, grass never grows.
Right.
It absolutely is, in my opinion, is a must if you want to have it look good.
Right.
If not, it's going to look like crap all the time.
Our
I
problem's
agree
the
with
water
you.
source.
Because I've been on a couple of projects, the same situation, a couple of school projects, and all you were doing was fighting with the contractor, coming back, reseeding, fertilizing, and of course, when the school projects are always during the summer, which is the worst time.
Worst time, yep.
Time of the year, so I think what we need to do, Nate, and we've already had enough discussions about that.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Is look at that pump over there, because that pump probably needs to be replaced, and this would give us an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Over the Tech Leaves camp, where we pump it out of
Yep.
the pond over there. I mean, it's working fine, but it's old.
Sure.
Very, very old.
Yeah, and they can just go and then you're sunk.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe that's something that we should look at.
Yes.
It's a good option. I think I would make the recommendation that, we did make provisions to tie into the city of town water supply for the irrigation and do like we did with the library, where we transfer, because there could come a point where, removal of water from a body of water like we do may be limited. So if we have it in place right out of the gate to use the irrigation off of the city of Taunton, have that conduit out to the field, we can transfer like we did the library, either with a pump system or with a well. But it's probably worth looking into right out of the gate as well.
Well, I mean, because they know, the
Aaron
park
signed
department
it.
knows that that
Yeah,
pump
Aaron
is
would make it easier though by road.
Right.
So maybe this project.
One of them
Okay,
hasn't
so
stapled together,
upgrades
that's
the
all.
pump,
Exactly.
to replace the pump, and then everybody would be happy.
Certainly get prices on it.
Right.
I don't know, I'm just throwing that as an
No, it's a
idea.
great idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you sell it, really.
I mean, it's working great at the library now, we don't have a problem with it at all.
Right.
We had some
We
problems
save
at
$5,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right.
So to move forward on it, do we get an irrigation plan from the landscaping company, or do we want to do it ourselves, or how do you?
I think you
suggest
find a
we-
local company that does irrigation installs in this area.
Yeah.
Have them, we would provide a site plan to them. They could see which areas are lawned, which areas we have a couple areas there that are just detention basins. So you want to limit where you want to put irrigation. But we would provide a site plan to a local company, just like we were doing for the propane.
Yeah.
And have that irrigation designer, installer, put a design together. We just need to know where it might go under roadways at this point. And then that's the provisions you would have in place to install that. The irrigation system itself would be installed late in the project. As long as you know your water source and where the water's coming from, we would work with that installer to get it done late in the project.
We should go with that same company that's helped us all these years.
Which one?
Well, you guys are using Rain Magic, right?
Yeah, but we didn't use Rain Magic to put in the
head.
connection to the Ted Williams.
No, that went through Stearns Irrigation.
Yeah, Stearns,
Yeah.
that's the name.
Yeah. Stearns would evaluate the large pump for sure, but they don't do installation of irrigation.
Oh, they don't?
They
Okay.
sell everything.
All right.
But, so we can easily
Okay.
get some names and get something put together. But from a sizing perspective of the domestic, is the domestic's 2-inch?
Yeah.
Is that sufficient to?
You have plenty
to
of
run?
capacity on the domestic. Yeah.
Do you have one other item?
We're also gonna get pricing to extend the fire alarm system to the outbuilding. We were talking about other VE items that we had taken off the project, and we did not extend the fire alarm to the outbuilding. It's not a code requirement, but in conversations, we just thought it would be good to come back with a proposal. If we just add a couple heats as a zone off the fire alarm system. We have the conduits in place, so it would just be giving you some protection out to the outbuilding. So we just thought that would be something we're gonna come back to you at a later time. Just know it's in process. If anybody has an objection, let me know, but we just thought it would be a good idea to present something. That was it, other than, we've never worked with AP Whitaker before, so this is a new experience, new contractor experience for our office. And we judge contractors early by how they start a project. And we get a better feel for the contractor as to how they finish a project. But at this point, we can only say good things about our experience so far with AP Whitaker. They have started this project aggressively. Their submittals have been good, well put together and well prepared. It helps us in our efforts because we can turn them back around just that much faster. But I'd just like to let you know as a committee that we've had a very good experience so far getting out of the ground with the work that they're doing on site. I think the personnel that they've put on this project have been so far, very capable in asking the right questions. We know that we're going to have questions, but it's whether they ask the right questions. And so far, they've been very good to work with, so we anticipate that to continue. But I just thought I'd express that to the committee. Up to this point, the project has gone very well.
Middleborough's been real happy with it.
Yeah, from an on-site perspective, it's a very good working relationship out there. When things come up, if they don't throw their hands up right away and say we can't go any further, they find something else to do, or we work around it or solve it there. But out in the field, it's been very good. All the subs, really, it's a pleasure working out there right now. You usually can't say on too many projects, but it's going good.
I know from my perspective, I'm experiencing the same thing, and, to echo both of your sentiment, is they're just fantastic. You go out there, they're very, transparent in what they're doing, they communicate well. Both our electrical and plumbing inspectors have both also had good experience, so I think we hit it out of the park, and we've only started.
Yeah.
Did Ramco move
They
the
haven't-
material yet?
no,
I didn't think the piles will move.
Oh, yeah, they've been focusing on
Yeah.
the backfilling operation, but Norm said today that we'd probably see some movement on that pretty soon.
Get him? We're firing you.
The last thing I had for you, Rita, is just I have the change order 1, which we talked about last meeting. Ryan put together change order 2 for the change in the engineering for the trusses. And then I have Kenny's change order, just all for signature by the town.
The full board of selectmen, or
I didn't know how,
Yeah, I
it's,
don't know.
it's addressed to the town of Lakeville, so we haven't had a change order signed yet. I didn't know if it needs to go to the full board of selectmen.
Oh, no, only if it's over that threshold. I mean, we're adhering to the charge
Yeah,
rules.
which none of them are, so I
Right.
assumed it could be signed
We
by
haven't
you.
even
Rita.
met the aggregate,
Right.
the aggregate, so we should sign those here.
Yeah,
I only have one copy of the water line one, because Kenny said he was gonna drop them by, but I guess he didn't. And then there's 3 copies of the
So I'll
1 and
sign
2.
as the procurement officer.
yeah. It's only wrong if somebody questions it, right?
Yeah, if we know Rita's gonna be the one to sign it, we can put her name in.
Yeah, we kept it as town as Lakeville, because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure who was signing it.
August 1st.
Yep.
And that's it, unless anybody has any more questions.
All right. So our next meeting is set up for September 5th. I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up?
We have to vote on the approving this stuff.
Oh, the bill.
Oh, yeah, the invoice is correct. Yeah, so let's go back to number 9, review and approve the invoices. Did anybody have questions about what's being approved, or?
I did give everybody a copy too of the invoices that are going around.
Yeah, so that's.
If you look at the front page, you
I'll
can
go
see
through it real
the,
fast.
yeah, you can see the 7 invoices that are in right now.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, so, it's this stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, page 1.
Yeah, if you look at the footnotes, they tell you exactly what they are.
Right, so it's,
Starting on number 2. Because number
yeah,
1 is just.
AP Whitaker, the water line, I can't read this, it's too little.
Jakunsky Humes. Pomeroy,
Yep,
Field Engineering has 2, and then SW Cole. Sharp.
right, yeah.
Material
the
testing.
Material testing. Any questions, concerns, comments?
I make a motion we approve the invoices as presented.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, it's unanimous. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Very good.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.